All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Maureen Basie. I'm here with the lovely Connie Saunders, and we're excited to give you a little intel to what you have to look forward to in just, gosh, a few weeks. As many of you know, we just returned back from Europe after an amazing 2-week consecutive back-to-back sailings with Royal Caribbean through the Mediterranean, Greek Isles, which was amazing. I just got back yesterday, so if for some reason I stumble on my words, know that it's a little jet lag. But yeah, it was an incredible experience. What's really exciting for us is a lot of the team that we just sailed with for 2 weeks, the culinary team, the traveling F&B director will also be with us in Alaska. So we really, really love their Royal Caribbean's commitment and interest to wanting to be a big part of this. So you're in for a treat. So yes, why don't we get started? Connie, why don't you say hi?
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. So glad to be here tonight and so excited to go to Alaska again. It's going to be amazing. We're going to go over lots of details tonight. Just a couple of housekeeping notes. If you have any questions, please go ahead and just put them in the Q&A. And at the end, we'll spend some time answering all of those. This call, the webinar is being recorded. So if you miss something or if you have to drop out or if someone you know missed it, we're going to record it and send it out to everybody, and we'll even put it on the Facebook page. So just remember the Q&A is there for the questions, and here we go. Wow, what a beautiful view. And it looks like that too, right?
Sure does.
Yes. And we'll be sailing August 23rd through the 30th. And there are some beautiful views. Amazing. So tonight we're kind of going to go through like the check-in process, what's to expect in Seattle, what to expect on the first day, all the dining that's involved on board, drinks, excursions, your ship, the gluten-free safety, events, and questions and answers. So we've got a lot to cover in just a short time, but we're here until we get them all answered.
So these are real pictures, not pulled in from someplace else. As I mentioned, you know, our culinary team, it continues to be so refreshing to all of us that they love the challenge of making things taste as good as you may have had in previous lives. So it's just really, really exciting. I mean, again, they continue to just pull new things out for our guests, and from the dinners to the late night snack surprises, just know that you are going to be in for a treat. And as we're home, kind of missing what was just last week, wondering, wow, was that a dream? So it's going to be great.
So check-in you can do at royalcaribbean.com, and that's where you can select your boarding time. Depending upon when your boarding time is, you know, they're very flexible now. Boarding time is just a suggestion. So if it says 1 o'clock and you want to come on about, 12 o'clock, come on over, because we're going to have a gluten-free lunch waiting for you on board the ship. So, get the earliest time available. And if the latest, if the earliest time is 2, don't wait till 2, come on over. Because they just don't really enforce it as much anymore. People are able to get on much earlier. So once there's availability, they let you come on and go ahead and get started. So we'll send a packing list soon. In one of our final emails, you'll probably get 2 more emails before we go. The very last one will include like your lunch ticket that you'll show to get into the gluten-free dining room. We'll go over that later. And then also the gluten-free guide for where to eat in Seattle. But you'll also get a packing list in one of the emails coming. So you'll still continue to hear from us. So there's a lot of things to do in Seattle. It's a beautiful city. You can, enjoy the Pikes Peak Market, the Space Needle. You can see all the things to do there. So much more to do. And like I said, we'll be sending a gluten-free guide. There's some really great dedicated gluten-free places there. And I know, Maureen, you have been to a couple more than even I have because you were able to go a couple days earlier than me.
Yeah, they have. I mean, and we will be in touch. You know, I know many of you have heard of Ghost Fish, which is an amazing spot. It's a little outside the city, but again, for those of you who are there a few days early, you know, it's easy to grab an Uber to get over there. I mean, just having the freedom to be able to have beer on tap, if that's of interest to you, that is a nice treat. They also have like a lot of those like bar favorites, you know, lots of the onion rings and all of that. So if you want that experience or have time to do that, we'll encourage you to do so. We'll be sending out in some of those final emails. A lot of times we've worked with Ghost Fish before and they'll have specials for us. Like if you say you're with Celiac Cruise, they could give you some swag or something like that. So look for that in the emails to come, and we will have that information for you as well.
Awesome. We do suggest you get to Seattle at least one day early, though, just so that you don't have any travel delays. So, you know, once you get to the port, boarding time will be anytime after 11:30, and we'll have, as soon as lunch is over, we'll have an expo like is what's shown here on the photo, where we'll have your swag bags and your t-shirts and your goodies, and there's even going to be maybe a little surprise taste of Holidaily, where you can try some of the gluten-free beer that we bring on board. But as you can see on the left-hand side there, the Solarium Bistro lunch will be sometime between 11:30 to 2:30, subject to change. It is a buffet, so you can come and grab the lunch that you want. It's amazing, full of salads and entrees and desserts and burgers and all different things. And it does change throughout the week, but you know, you can come and grab lunch and then go explore the ship while you're waiting for your cabin to open, which is usually around 1:30 or so. And then, like I said, with the picture there, the welcome aboard reception expo, we call it, will likely start around 2 p.m. In the very last email that we send before we go, we'll have all the dining times and all the times confirmed. There's still just a lot of things up in the air with the ship, you know, with it might be 20 minutes here or there. So we don't want to confirm anything until you get that final email. But one of the things that we love is the sail away party. You want to talk about that, Maureen?
Sure. So as much as we can, we really do try and, you know, give people the opportunity to get to know each other. You know, we always say we have this one thing that connects us, whether you are someone living with celiac disease or a caregiver or, you know, a parent or someone. So we do really try and give people that opportunity. This sail away, just the views. I mean, some of those pictures we had on the previous slide, like that was a real, you know, you get to see these mountains. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. So that will happen once people are settled. You know, you're able to get into your cabins, but prior to dinner. So we'll give you those specifics. We usually have it in the same location. So we're up on the top of the ship. It's a great opportunity for photos too, as we sail away. And we sometimes have some drink specials there too. So yeah, look for more information about that.
Dining. Maureen,
Yeah.
I'll let you take this one.
Okay. So lots and lots and lots of options for us. So as you know, the way that the majority of the sailing is set up as it relates to our dining options, that we're in the Solarium Bistro. That is the dedicated, no one comes in without a gluten-free. That's the entire, your wristband, everything is set up. So that is where you will have the majority of your meals. Breakfast and lunch are a buffet option, whereas dinner, we do kind of an a la carte situation that you will, again, be briefed on. But, it's nice. They do change the venue a bit, so it feels a little bit more, it's Alaska, so it's casual. You're not going to feel like, you're underdressed coming in there, but it is, just kind of switching things up. So you're served your entree, you'll have menus and things like that. But What's really nice is the flow of the bistro, because so many of us will, have excursions, and we want you to not have to stress about getting back. Oh gosh, dinner's ending, or, I have to be off the ship at this time. So that's the real concept for itineraries like this, is to be able to give you the flexibility to have that safe, quality, delicious food, but have it fit in with your schedule. So, yeah, so there'll be plenty and plenty of options, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I know many of you have already communicated with us additional dietary restrictions, and I will tell you, we have our own dedicated 2 chefs that are just there. They're absolutely incredible of identifying, additional allergens. So what we will do is have you come to us as soon as you arrive on the first day. We'll introduce you to the culinary team. And what they'll do is they can walk the line with you and kind of go through exactly, whether it's dairy, whether you're a vegan, whether soy, et cetera, and really, really, handpick what is safe for that and for things in addition to gluten. So know that you're in great hands there. There are other options that we do go above and beyond just a traditional Royal Caribbean sailing. So Sorrento's is the pizza place on board. And what we do is they will have one dedicated oven just for gluten-free pizzas, and they will have a separate, serving station, toppings, the pizza slicer, things like that. So that is a part of one of the specific trainings that we'll explain in a few slides. But the Sorrento's team is briefed over and over again. You'll see the signage is there for the gluten-free offerings. So that is a great place. Whether it's a late night snack, if you needed more food, or kind of in the middle of the day, or if you just wanted something quick, we'll use that as a family sometimes as well. If, the kids are just like, well, I just want to grab a pizza, and also having that flexibility to just grab a gluten-free pizza is a real treat. So,
and it's free.
Oh, and it's free. Yes. So that is included in
Yes.
your cruise fare. So know that that's covered. There's a place called the Dog House on board that's going to be in the Seaplex, which is towards the back of the ship. The Seaplex is kind of like just the everything spot. Some of you have seen pictures. I think we have some coming in the next slides, but this is a venue that you'll find there's bumper cars there, there's basketball, there's pickleball, there's roller skating. So it's kind of a multifaceted use opportunities. So what's nice, there's opportunities for food there. So the dog houses are great. So they'll serve sausages that, again, all of those will be checked in detail to ensure they're gluten-free, and additional hot dogs and things like that. So you can just grab something there. There'll be gluten-free buns there. So, and you'll see top left there, that's my son, Peter, who was kind of the visionary. He was my inspiration that started this whole journey of Celiac Cruise, but Peter really, enjoys the chance to be able to run up there and just say, can I have a hot dog? So that's an opportunity as well. Gluten-free ice cream cones. So there will be soft serve ice cream in a place called Sprinkles on the pool deck. And in addition, just for our cruise, they stock that with ice cream cones. And those employees will be trained specifically on what needs to happen, because there are gluten cones there. So they will be changing their gloves. They will be ensuring, again, a safe opportunity. And what's really great is it's not a self-serve place. So we ensure, and again, this is special for our cruise, to ensure there's no cross contact. So, no one's shoving the cone straight up into the ice cream. So that is another safe box you can check just to be able to grab a treat throughout the day. Shar is one of our loyal, wonderful partners who has always, helped donate a series of food items so we can increase the variety of things. So we have lots of treats and surprises coming from Shar that you will be able to enjoy. And then many other surprises will await you that, we do try and share, obviously, as much, because I know everybody's excited, but we also like to give you a little surprise here and there. So
I like the surprise donuts. Oops, I just said it, but I really. Here's a surprise.
Oh, yeah. So again, another amazing partner of ours that we've worked with from the beginning, Holiday Brewing Company from Golden, Colorado. This is a certified gluten-free beer. This is not gluten removed. It's all gluten-free grains that are used, certified gluten-free grains. It's a 100% gluten-free facility. If you haven't been there, I encourage you to check it out. It's again, just one of those, experiences that really makes you wonder, how can this be gluten-free? So if you're a beer drinker, you're in for a treat because this will be available on board. Both of those two selections are there. They're included in the drink package, and they're also available a la carte. $7.49, which honestly I think is the best deal on the ship to get a craft beer like that for that price. So you'll see those available in all of the bars. So they'll be there. We'll also have an event on board to be able to give you the chance to help support our food insecurity mission that we work with Celiac Disease Foundation with, to do a beer tasting. So look for that in coming weeks. We'll have that on one of the days at sea while we're on board. Oh, and the straws, mention the straws. Again, when we say we go to every detail to ensure you really can vacation without having to think, this is one of those things. The straws are actually, it's fascinating. I made my way of calling the company, and not only did I call the company, I ended up having coffee with the gentleman and his brother who invented these straws that are like decomposed oyster shells. I mean, definitely a conversation that I will not dare try and recite because it was really, really fascinating, but a little above my scientific comprehension, but it was really fascinating. So they are top 8 allergen free. So even if you have a shellfish allergy, they are safe. But we think about that, yes, straws go in our mouth. So a lot of those new straws that are being used in different places, the paper straws do contain wheatgrass. So that every straw you're given on that ship, and this is a fleet-wide, all of Royal Caribbean ships now use strawfish. So don't have to worry about the straws either. Oh, the mixers. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. So yes, the week before, we will also, a lot of times we get all the questions. We go through every mixer and confirm, again, they are gluten-free. So we will be on board prior to all of you reviewing those details in depth. So you can relax and know that really the only thing behind the bar that you cannot drink, and we'll confirm this, is the gluten-containing beer. So more on that though.
Sorry, I had already jumped to the other screen. So
That's okay.
we'll talk a little bit about excursions. So, Alaska's beautiful and we're in ports a long time. So you can do as much or as little as you want. The wildlife is amazing. The views are amazing. It's chilly. You'll want to bring a jacket, and it's hard to imagine in July. We live in Florida, so it's really hot here now, but this could be an amazing option, because you get to experience the wildlife. And having our open dining time is great because you can grab a quick meal and go out and enjoy your excursion, or do your excursion and come back. If your excursion that you want to take is sold out, don't worry, because a couple of options. You can check with other options. Send us an email and we can tell you. There's Project Expedition, there's Viator tours, there's lots of different tours that are out there that are not Royal Caribbean. We always suggest Royal Caribbean because they guarantee that you'll get back to the ship on time. So we would like for you to, go there first. And people do change their minds. So if you want to do that helicopter tour to the glacier, just keep checking back. And when you get on board the ship the first day, a lot of times there's new availability. So new ones are added, people change their mind, they decide they want to do something different, and the excursions do open up for you at a later time. So royalcaribbean.com is where you're going to do your online check-in. And that's also where you're going to purchase any short excursions that you might want to do, or any beverage packages, things like that. But it's an amazing adventure. You'll want to pack with layers because it might be maybe raining a bit, or it might be chilly. So all of these are live pictures that we took when we were in, on this cruise in July or August. So it'll be even more chilly when we go. So, and then the ship, wow, there's so much to do on the ship. So in the top left, you can see Maureen and her daughter, Maggie. They did the iFly, where you fly. On the inside, you kind of skydive backwards, right? Or it's iFly, which is great. You have a flow rider on board that you can either participate in or you can watch. I'm a good watcher. And the flow rider, imagine surfing on a cruise in the middle of the ocean in Alaska. Quite incredible. In the middle picture, you can see the solarium. That's an adult only area with beautiful pool and floor to ceiling windows. And it's just a gorgeous place. Imagine sitting there as we're sailing, through the glaciers or through the fjords. And just, it's a quiet kind of really relaxing area. And what's the greatest part about that is right behind this solarium is the Solarium Bistro, where all of our meals are. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, and late night snacks are located right behind where this lady is. And so we also get those amazing views. The top picture, Adventure Ocean, is their kids club. So if you're bringing the little ones and you want to put them through the camp, it's amazing. They do fun things like activities and crafts and different, it's age appropriate. So each age is separated age group, but there's so many things to do. You can see the rock climbing wall. The North Star is the bottom right picture. And that's, it's a glass dome that goes up into the air and out over the side of the ship. And you can see 360 views. It's amazing. Maureen already talked about the Seaplex, lots of shopping. You can make some deposits at the casino. I'm sorry, you can play at the casino. There's a spa for those of you that really love to, relax, and so many lounges and bars and shows. I mean, there's so much to do. You really have to choose, between lots of options. You won't be bored, that's for sure.
I will jump in here. So, we've covered this a little bit just in our explanations of how the food and things are prepared and managed and thought ahead, and the menus and everything. I mean, obviously safety is our number one, and we've done Royal Caribbean takes it so incredibly serious, it's an easy partnership for us. The entire food and beverage crew that will be working with us, in addition to the venues we mentioned in the previous slide, will have direct training about celiac disease and cross-contamination, cross-contact. So everyone has full understanding of why. That kind of goes along with our mission in general, is to educate people a little bit more about celiac disease. So, when we all pack up and leave the ship, they are left with that opportunity to understand a little more. So when they come into contact with another guest, either whether they're still on the Royal Caribbean or changed to a resort on land, they will hopefully take that little bit of information with them. So they understand this is not a choice. We're not here because of some cool new fad diet. And we're here out of medical necessity. So they ask great questions. So they will understand why before you even step on board that ship. Every ingredient that goes into every single thing that goes in our venues, and in addition to the venues we listed, are checked by hand in detail. Calls are made to, manufacturers if we can't get specific information from the labels, but everything is reviewed. So that it's been checked and by a dietitian on our team as well. So you can completely relax. And that is what our point of you coming with us is. The menus obviously are reviewed as, in addition to the ingredients, that's what we're finalizing now, to again, make sure we have variety for everyone, and also adding some of those, like those treats that only someone living this would understand. It's funny. I'm going to blow another surprise, but you may or may not have the chance to have a churro at one of our late night snacks. And it's always very funny because the culinary team really likes to give me a hard time. They're like, what's your deal with churros? Like, it's one of the first things that come up in conversation. It's like they call me the crazy churro lady, which I am, because if you haven't had a churro in a long time, that is something that has been completely crossed off the list of something to try. So there's an example. Those are the things that we try and give you back through this experience. All of the venues are walked through immediately beforehand to ensure, cleaning procedures have been in depth. We've never had an issue with Royal Caribbean. They are guided by United States Public Health. So again, people ask us why cruise ships? Well, cruise ships are one of the cleanest facilities in their all of their galleys and cooking areas, because they have much higher standards of cleanliness than any other venue that you would vacation or go into a restaurant and things like that. So all of that is done prior to, again, you stepping foot on the ship.
And last week when we were in the Greek Isles, someone mentioned to me, and I thought it was just so awesome. She said, here you don't feel like you're a bother. Like if you ask somebody a question about an ingredient, they don't roll their eyes at me and they don't go and walk away. They're like, yes, let me look into that, or come over here, let me show you. And they felt like they were just the Royal Caribbean just makes everybody feel like that you're so important and that they really care. And I think it's because, number one, it's the Celiac Cruise, and they know that it's not just some fad diet. But number two, they really care. You're going to really love the crew that is part of our team. So the Royal Caribbean crew, for sure.
So again, back to what we were talking about in terms of giving people the opportunity to spend some time together, to connect, to talk about this journey or not. A lot of times people just want to have something silent in common. So there'll be that opportunity. We're going to have a cooking demonstration that we do with the culinary team on one of the desserts that you'll be able to sample. So you will be able to sample it at dinner one of the evenings in our dining room, but you'll learn how to make it as well. It's a dessert that one of those, I'm not going to tell you that we'll leave that, but a dessert that is kind of hard to find gluten-free these days. So we'll have opportunities for adults to get together. We do have meetups in some of the lounges and bars. And everyone is welcome. Obviously, if, mocktails, cocktails, whatever is your thing, or just to kind of have the opportunity to chat in a different, more low-key environment. But just know that, yes, because the venues that primarily have access for meetups are about bars and lounges, but if you do not drink, please don't feel like you can't attend. It's not about that. It's about the camaraderie and connection. So that's available. We will have events for the kiddos to get together to try and give them the opportunity to connect. We do some family fun activities. That picture in the bottom right, I think was prior to one of our legendary scavenger hunts around the ship. So look for that. It's a super, super fun opportunity to get to know the ship. We try and do it towards the beginning, so you really know where you're going after that scavenger hunt. But it's also just a really fun thing for people to do together as a family, young and old. So again, everyone is welcome at that. And then we mentioned, our beer tasting, which will be one of the philanthropic events that we'll have on board, and maybe some other surprises. So.
One of my favorite events is the top right, and that's the coffee and conversation. And that's where we just sit around and talk and just have it's an adult, meetup. It's during the day, and it's just a time to kind of talk about things. It's everything that we offer in terms of onboard events is optional, but you can do as much or as little as you want, but we just want it there for you just in case you want to participate. So I can't wait to taste that cake. Wow.
Oh, yes. Yes. We do definitely, I was just typing an answer to some of the dairy-free questions. Royal Caribbean, again, it being the bistro is actually, it's just a really nice setup, and that you have that opportunity to have these one-on-one conversations with the chef. And, you know, just coming off of our Greek Isles cruises, which is the same exact setup with the bistro as Alaska will be, you know, a lot of our guests who are dairy-free, we're able to, you know, have that one-on-one time and additional allergens, but to try and accommodate some of the recipes. So, and they will try, you know, adding margarine instead of butter, you know, et cetera. They'll definitely do. And so they know, yes, I mean, we are the Celiac Cruise, right? So gluten-free is what we do best, you know, but yet again, knowing the comorbidities with dairy, we do try and do our best, as does Royal Caribbean, to accommodate and to incorporate dairy-free alternatives and options. So that was, I was typing that up, but you got the verbal version of it first. So yeah, we'll go ahead and jump into some of these questions. You know, knowing that this is not your last chance to answer questions, should you have more, which a lot of times, you know, either you hang up and say, wait, I should ask that, please send them to info@celiaccruise.com. So we'll be able to, you know, get back to you on those. You know, there are still a few things we are awaiting from the ship in terms of specifics. So, you know that that information is coming, but you will have everything long before you leave home. So you'll really know all the details of where you're going, et cetera. The first question here is, I signed up for the cupcake decorating. How will the cruise line know to provide me with gluten-free cupcakes? I will tell you, I don't know who is signed up for that. You know, we hold a gluten-free standard that if you are not comfortable in a shared environment, I may discourage you, unfortunately, from doing that event, because they do not usually have gluten-free cupcakes available. Obviously, if this is a family member of yours who is not gluten-free, it is okay. We do try and simulate some of these activities when we can. The cupcake one has not been one we've been able to do yet, purely due to safety. You know, a lot of times I like to answer that question of why aren't we doing X, Y, and Z? And usually the response is due to safety. And I think that we appreciate that Royal Caribbean takes that so insanely serious. So if they cannot guarantee X, Y, and Z will be safe, we don't offer that. So you still, if you know, unfortunately, I know that might not be the answer you wanted to hear, but you are able to cancel at this point if it is something that does not make you feel comfortable, and get a full refund at this point. What is the difference between the North Star Extended for $59 and the free ride on the capsule? Connie, I'll let you answer that.
So the free ride is when we're in port, and it just goes up and down, and it's available in the app. Once you get on board the ship, you can sign up for that. The extended one is when we're sailing, so it's got better views, and it's when it goes up and it also goes out over the side, and so it's a longer experience and it's different views as well. So that's the difference. We've done the free one several times and it's great, but the extended one is a lot of clients have done that and they've loved it too. So
how many options should I expect being vegan and gluten-free? You know, kind of similar to what I described with the dairy-free options. Our culinary team does do their very best. Our traveling food and beverage director is actually vegan and gluten-free. So, you know, her being involved, obviously there's definitely some more options. But I do encourage you again on day one to come find one of us and we can introduce you to the chef. And I think you'll be pleased with what they're able to offer and create. We do have vegan options on our menus every night. There always is a vegan option available, even at the late night snacks. So, you know, but again, if you wanted something specific, I encourage you to have those conversations with our culinary team.
Ryan asks, can non-celiac family members eat at other places on the ship or only at designated celiac cruise places? Non-celiac family members can eat anywhere they want. Anybody that has a wristband on can enter our dedicated gluten-free dining room, but only those people who have our wristband on can enter our gluten-free dining room. But you can go anywhere else and eat anything else you want. I will tell you that having been on so many of these that most family members will go try food somewhere else and they'll come back because our food is just amazing. So think about this. The ship holds, 5,000 people, let's say, and we have almost 300 in our bistro. And in our bistro, we have extra chefs, we have traveling chefs, we have corporate chefs, we have all this attention, all this amazing fresh ingredient, all these amazing fresh ingredients, and it's all prepared just for 300 people. So I think your family members are going to turn right around and come right back, and really enjoy the food that we have to offer. Plus, our meals are all open seating. So if it says 7 to 9, you don't have to come exactly at 7 or exactly whatever. You come anytime between those. Whereas on the other parts of the ship, they have to eat at like 5 p.m. on the dot or 8:30 p.m. on the dot. So it's nice to have the ability to, to have that open seating.
Some of our excursions are long. Will we be able to take any food with us off the ship? Again, back to my previous response, normally if there's a reason we say no, it's because of a law. And there are pretty strict rules and regulations with Alaska on bringing food off the ship. That being said, we will be offering bars and things like that. We really, really do try and create a way that with our timing of certain meals that you can, fill up once, fill up twice before you leave, and then come back and, dinner will be extended, even if it's a later time. We have, at times there's things that you can walk that line and possibly, Ziploc bag it. But again, I can't sit here and say that when you get off the ship, you're not going to have an issue with someone in that port of call. And there's a reason. It's the nature, environmental laws and things like that, specifically with Alaska. That is the reason. It's not because Royal Caribbean's trying to, be mean and not let us take our food. But there's laws that govern that.
But anything prepackaged, like a prepackaged gluten-free bar or, anything like that, you could take as long as it's prepackaged.
Yes.
Do you dress fancy for supper like on a regular cruise? I mean, you
You-
can, right?
Some
Yeah.
people do. I mean, I love it. We have this couple that travels every time with us and they just shock the room, with their sparkles. Then you'll have somebody very casual. And I love that about this environment and our group, that whoever you are, you can be. No one's going to tell you. I mean, they do have rules about bathing suits and being wet, and that type of thing. So yes, appropriate dress is asked, but you're not going to feel out of place if you're one way or the other for our meals. But yes, you will see some people fancy.
And you said it earlier, Alaska is much more casual in general, just because it's all about the outdoors. And so you'll see a lot of jeans and a lot of tennis shoes. It's a outdoorsy type cruise. But you will see some people dressed up too. It's really fun.
Asking about questions that don't get answered today, like we said, info@celiaccruise.com would be a great place to send those, and we will get back to you on that. Connie, is it simple to go and find an excursion once we arrive at the port?
Yeah, I mean, I've had clients who have done this before. You can, depending upon what the port is, there's options right off the port. You just want to make sure that you're going to get back to the ship, because if you go with an excursion that's not Royal Caribbean's, then, if you don't get back, they're going to leave you. Just take that into consideration when you do something that's not through the cruise line.
Do people typically have reason to bring a car seat for excursions during the cruise? I guess it really depends on the age of your child. I know that, it depends on what excursions you're taking too. I mean, a lot of them will take you in the gondola. Some will take you in like a school bus environment. and it's actually like a school bus, a lot of the
Yeah.
excursions we've done before. So, I mean, I think that's a very individual, kind of preference, what you feel. I mean, there is room if you feel better, in that cabin to be able to shove the car seat someplace if you just think that, you'd rather have it with you. Obviously we know a lot of Ubers and things like that do have car seats available, but I'm not gonna feel comfortable saying that that might be the case in Alaska. So if you normally travel with it, short distances, you may want to bring it.
What about tips? So, gratuities are automatically charged to your onboard account every day, unless you prepay them. And you can prepay your gratuities up until about the 1st of August. So just reach out to us and we can add the gratuities. Just tell us what the last 4 digits of the card you want to use, and we can add those. Or better yet, you can just wait and pay them on board the ship. It's the same price. So there's no discount by prepaying, but they'll charge you every single day for the gratuities. And that goes to your servers and assistant servers, your housekeeper that cleans your room. It also goes to like the staff on board. And it's $18 per passenger per day. So at the end of the cruise, a lot of people do find a few people that they feel like went above and beyond, and they usually slip them some cash. But gratuities are automatic now. For the standard gratuities, you would only tip cash for people that go above and beyond, or somebody that you feel like needs more.
Since this isn't the formal dining room, will there be formal nights? So yes, there are. I mean, they don't call them formal anymore. It's like dress your best or dress to impress. But the ship follows, we can send that out prior to. That will be in the email that comes, a few weeks out, what the themes are, because I think someone else asked about themes. So they will have like I don't know if it's Latin night, but those type of things. So if you want to participate in that, you're able to. So more on that. But yes, there are those on the calendar. Can you cancel a purchased onboard activity?
Yes, you can. Any shore excursion, you can purchase up to 2 days, cancel up to 2 days prior to the excursion or activity, and get your money back. Now, if you sign up for one of our onboard activities for our fundraiser, for our philanthropy events, typically those are non-refundable unless there's some kind of issue. But with the excursions and cupcake classes and things like that, you can cancel those still.
Is there a main dining room option as well for dinner, or just the bistro? For this particular cruise, it is just the bistro, but I think you will be impressed with the bistro. It is one of the most coveted venues on this ship, especially for Alaska, given, it's floor to ceiling windows. I mean, it's just really, really an amazing ambiance as well, especially through Alaska. As I stated before, if there's a reason we're not doing something, it's a reason due to safety. So the way that the galleys are set up on this particular ship, the only way that we can guarantee a dedicated environment is by using the galley in the Solarium Bistro. So again, back to whenever there is a reason something doesn't happen, it's going back to our number one, which is safety. I've heard something about Taste of Royal, a fundraiser for food insecurity. That's one of the things we are awaiting confirmation. If we are able to do it, we will plan on it. It's just a lot of, again, back to safety and space to ensure that we're able to create an environment that keeps everyone safe. So more on that as we get more information back from the ship. I believe that
We'll send an email out right before we go, probably about a month before, with all the fundraiser events. So there'll be a beer tasting event. If there's a Taste of Royal, that will be there. Anything that we do that would be a fundraiser to help feed families that can't afford gluten-free food, then you can sign up and pay for those at that time. So plenty of time to plan for that.
I believe I noticed we disembark rather early at the end of the cruise. Is that true?
Yes. So we pull in about 6 a.m. and they usually start letting people off about 7, and everybody's off about 9 because at like 10:30 they're going to start letting people back on. So they have to get everybody off the ship down to 0 count, and then everybody starts coming back on for the new one. So they've got to clean all the cabins and get everything. But don't worry, we'll have gluten-free breakfast available before you go. And you can fill up your tummy before heading back to the plane or wherever you're heading on to. So plenty of availability for breakfast.
When will the packing list be sent out? That is something that will probably come in the next email that you'll be receiving. So we have it from last year. Obviously, things haven't changed too much, but we just want to make sure, check it twice, and then we'll have that out to you. And I don't think you'll feel like you're going to need to rush. You'll have some time to get everything taken care of.
And just to say, in Alaska, the biggest thing is layers. So, you might even be able to wear short sleeves sometimes, but, having a sweater or a jacket or a rain poncho, just being able to have, rain shoes or something that's waterproof, that's what you need. Jeans, things like that. But yeah, we'll send that out as soon as possible.
The pre-cruise hotel issues with the link, but the hotel rooms have availability on the app.
If you would send us an email, we can look into that and answer you specifically. I didn't know there was a problem with the link, so we'll look at that. Just email us, Celiac Cruise at Total Travel Events, the ones that sent the confirmation, and we'll be happy to look at that, and help you make sure you get the right hotel.
Suggestions for meals when we are in port before and after. So as we said, we will be sending a Seattle list of all restaurants that we would recommend. We do kind of operate in the dedicated gluten-free mentality because we, feel that that is the safest for our guests. Given what we all know of things changing from week to week, someone calls out sick and this and that, we again want you to be 100% safe as it relates to the ports of call. Again, going back to Alaska and things like that, if there is something that we find that we would feel comfortable putting our name on, you will know about it. If not, we do encourage you to kind of do what we've talked about before. The reason why box lunches are not able to happen is what we described before because of laws as it relates to Alaska.
And for example, the train excursion, I did the train excursion and it was awesome. So I would encourage you to do that. I had lunch before I went, and it was a wonderful afternoon adventure. And I came back and was back in plenty of time for dinner. So you won't really need to take for the train trip a lunch. If you can, plan it between the meals is fine.
Is there transportation from the hotel to the ship and back to the hotel?
No, there's not transportation, but Uber's big there. Lyft is big there. You can also get a cab. Different people want to come at different times, and there are a few hotels that are on the list. So, it's we always just get an Uber because Seattle's a big Uber city.
During dinner, do we have the same wait staff for the entire cruise? Yes. That's one big thing that we do keep with. So everyone, again, that's the staff that was trained for the Solarium Bistro. So they will be with us from start to finish. Ship's capacity.
All ships sail full all the time now. It's just one of those things. They're always full. If there's an open cabin, it's because someone canceled at the last minute, but ships are full and everybody is sailing, and Alaska is so popular. It's amazing. So I don't know what it is right now, but I know that our dining room is full and we have probably 300 people on the waiting list. So be happy that you're part of this group because it sure did sell out quickly, and we're glad that you were able to join us.
Where do we get the wristbands?
So the wristbands will be given out right after lunch on the first day. So you'll come on board, you'll go to the bistro, you'll have a delicious, amazing gluten-free lunch. And then you can walk around the ship for a couple of, for a few minutes and get to know the ship and get, acclimated to where everything is. They'll open the cabins about 1:30. Usually they'll let you know you can go to your cabins. And then around 2 o'clock, from 2 to 4-ish, we'll confirm the times later. You'll come to the location that we put, and you will come get your wristband, your t-shirts, your lanyards, all of the from 2 to 4 at the check-in.
Eating elsewhere in the non-gluten-free dining room. You're probably aware of this. Don't bring any food into the gluten-free dining room. Yes, I mean, we ensure no one's able to come in to our dining room unless you have a wristband. And sometimes in the beginning, that's a bit of a nuisance. And I know people ask, do I have to wear this thing all week? And the answer is yes, and that is to keep our environment gluten-free. As even with beer, we will ask if any of your family members prefer to drink something other than Holidaily, that they do so outside of our dining room. Even if you're asked, we will have a bar staff coming around to tables, and your traditional beers are not going to be on the list of something you can have. You can have them outside, just can't have them in there. So yes, it is kept safe. Are there safe gluten-free options in the ports you recommend? Well, as I mentioned before, if we find something, you will know of it. If not, then, again, we're going to ask you to stick with what we know is safe, which is the food you will be offered in our dining room. Was an email about checking in. So it just opened. Again, there is no need to panic about that. We encourage you to go ahead and you should get an email about check-in from Royal Caribbean. I believe I did, but don't panic. You didn't miss anything at all. And as Connie mentioned at the beginning, they're just not that strict anymore about your time of check-in. So if perhaps you get 11:30, if you check in after this, that's not to say you can't get in when they first open the gates. So again, it's just not something we want you to add to your things to worry about as it relates to starting your vacation. The difference between sled dog excursions. I don't know if I can answer that specifically. Maybe Connie, I'll give that one to you.
There are sled dog excursions up on the glacier. So you fly in a helicopter, you go on the glacier, and you go with the sled dogs up there. Or there's sled dog excursions on land near the ship, and those are on the dirt. So if you are going to the helicopter first, you'll be up on the glacier, and experiencing it on a glacier. If not, it will be, on land, and it won't be a glacier. So that's really the difference. We don't sell the shore excursions, Royal Caribbean does. So if you have any questions, you can always call Royal Caribbean and just listen for the prompts, and it'll for shore excursions, and there'll be somebody to help you.
If we paid gratuities long ago, there will be none added, correct? We just tip those who do a little extra.
Correct. If you've already added gratuities to your booking, then there won't be any added while you're on board.
Seating questions about who you're sitting with. The way that the bistro works is that you do not have an assigned seat each evening. We will, breakfast and lunch is open seating. So you come in and you find wherever you want to sit. Whereas at dinner, we will seat you. So if you come in and you want a table for two, as long as there's a table for two available in that moment, you can sit however you prefer or with new friends you've met. Let's see, join late, question about the bistro. If we have access to always going to the buffet. So yeah, the way that it's set up, breakfast and lunch is buffet, an extensive buffet. I don't know if the word buffet gives credit to what that environment is, self-service, but again, it's one of the fanciest looking buffets I've ever seen in terms of options and presentation. But for dinner, we will have menus. You'll be ordering off menus for your entrees. You know, they have soups and things like that that you will serve yourself for your appetizer. But the entree will be on, everything's on the menu, but you will be, they will bring out your entrees. Can we purchase onboard activities? Not sure. Excursions, can they be canceled after purchased?
Yes, up to 2 days. I'm not exactly sure what you purchased, but drink packages, Wi-Fi, all that can be canceled up to 2 days prior to boarding. So yes.
Someone asking about seating. We will share the specific hours, but you know, an example, and I'm sure it's going to be very much like this because, you know, we just came off of the Greek Isles cruise with the Solarium Bistro. Like dinner, we had a time frame from 5 to 9 p.m. Again, I will quote, you know, asterisk on that. That could shift 30 minutes one way or the other. Sometimes, you know, say if we're in a port of call later. So, you know, when we were in Santorini, the ship didn't leave until 11 p.m. So that day that we did alter dinner. So dinner was served until 10 that evening. Just so know that those are the details that are being like implemented to again give you the best experience possible, and also so you don't have to stress of what am I going to do? I'm back late. Everything's closed. So, but you'll have plenty, and the windows, you know, for breakfast and lunch aren't quite as, you know, wide as a 4-hour situation, but they are, you know, 2.5, 3 hours, you know, you'll have plenty of time to get in there and also not feel like, oh, you have to wake up at 7 a.m. if that's not how you are planning on living this vacation. Let's see.
What's
So,
the best
yeah.
for parking?
Oh, okay.
You want to jump to that? Sorry. Parking during the week. Parking is at the pier, and that way you can just get into your car when the ship is when the sailing's over and go right home. So there's parking available right at the pier, and that's what we suggest.
Someone asked just about sharing information that is helpful. Yes, the Facebook page is designed just for that. You know, obviously we all have one common things that we are here for. So if you find something that you think could be helpful for your fellow passengers, we encourage you to go ahead and post that. That's what that is for. It's also an opportunity for people to get to know each other. You know, yes, it's a way for us to share information in addition to the emails you receive, but it's also a platform for you all to share information that you think would be helpful for people. Gluten-free beer. I can't really legally answer that question.
I think what they're asking is, can we take it out of the bistro, not out into town?
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
If you're asking, can gluten-free beer go out of the bistro? Absolutely, because the beer is being sold in every bar on the ship. So you can get the gluten-free beer anywhere. You can't take beer off the ship though. So I think you're just asking about on the ship, and we'll go with that.
Yes. What time it gets dark in Victoria? Victoria is extremely safe. I mean, that's it's so charming. I think that we have had guests who go out at night. So I wouldn't anticipate that being an issue. I don't know exactly offhand what time it gets gets dark. But obviously we can find that out. Wi-Fi.
So Wi-Fi is not included, but you can purchase it as a package. It's unlimited. It's Starlink, which is the Elon Musk Starlink. So it's super high speed. You can do Zoom calls. You can do Wi-Fi calling. You can surf the internet. You can, you know, it's super fast. It's an all-inclusive program. You can purchase it by the day, or you can purchase it for the whole sailing. So
difference between the flow rider experience and the one you pay. I can answer that. I have 3 children who are very, very, very big fans of the flow rider. The free experience obviously is offered many times throughout the week. Yes, sometimes you can expect to wait in a line. I believe the $79 is either a private experience. It's a private group experience, I think is what that is. It's like you're not going to get a one-on-one, but there might be a smaller group of, I don't know, I don't want to quote an exact number. Let's say 10. So obviously you're getting more opportunity for that period of time, but I feel like it was like an hour. Just got off a flight. Was this recorded? Yes, it is recorded. And you will have a link sent probably tomorrow of the entire recording, so you can get back there. Is cell reception generally okay in the ports?
Yes, in the ports of call, most of the ports are American. So, if you have regular cell service, it's not even going to be long distance because you're in Alaska, which is America. When you're in Canada, if you have an international plan or you have, a US Canadian plan, which most of ours are nowadays, it should be included. But yes, cell reception is generally great in the ports. There are some times when we're way up in the glaciers on board the ship where the cell service is not that great, but the views are. So you have to kind of weigh it. But in the ports, yes. There's one last question about dining establishments on shore, and we've already answered that. But in general, if there was something out there, we would let you know, and there just isn't. So that's why we keep our dining
Except for
open.
Victoria. I will
Yes.
put an asterisk on that. There are some options in Victoria, and we will be sending that to you. There is a place, again, I'm verifying and confirming safety is still the way that it was last year and all of those things. I actually have someone on the ground doing some research there who lives in Victoria, but there was a place that you can get gluten-free fish and chips. And there's a truly gluten-free beer there available too. So you will have that information if we have it. We understand the value of being able to do things like that. But again, our number one is always to keep you safe. So someone needs to invent a dedicated gluten-free restaurant in Sitka. That would be. But then you have crab legs, I mean, our family, there's ways, however you normally operate is how, there's a lot of naturally gluten-free offerings that are available in these ports of call. So just, exercise caution and think through those things like you normally would at home.
Well, there's no more questions. And
I don't know, one just popped up.
Oh, great.
Gluten-free fish and chips on the ship. Stay tuned. Again, I can't give away all of the surprises, but Jerry, I think you'll be happy. That's all I'll say.
Yes.
So if we found an almost gluten-free truck in Sitka, we can post it. We'd ask you to post that in the Facebook group. Yes, but let us know. I mean, again, I can explore and do that. And if it meets, our certification standards of what we know 100% of you would feel safe in, then we will share it. So, well, thank you all so much, obviously, for being here. We cannot wait to share this just fantastic experience with you all. info@celiaccruise.com. If you have any additional questions, if they're travel specific, we'll make sure we get them to the Total Travel, Connie and her team. And yeah, so we look forward to seeing you all and enjoying this amazing event together. So everybody have a great night and we'll talk to you soon.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us.